If you wanted to know more about Pearl Cove Beach Club, you came to the right video. If you have not seen my full tour of Celebration Key, make sure you go check that out. Before I will speak about the Pearl Cove Beach Club, let me tell you about Celebration Key. At first, when I looked at Celebration Key from the cruise ship, I was a little unimpressed. But once I got off the ship, the place was beautiful. It was massive. So many different places to go and lounge and relax. I just thought that it was such a great place. Kudos to Carnival Cruise Line for bringing this to us for us to be able to enjoy. Now, let's go into the Pearl Cove Beach Club. Before going to Pearl Cove Beach Club, there are three options you need to know about. The option one is Pearl Cove Beach All Access. The second is Pearl Cove Beach Open Bar. The third is Pearl Cove Beach All Inclusive. Let's go with the first option. The Pearl Cove Beach All Access. Currently, as of today, on the website, it is $79.99. You have to be a minimum of 18 years old and 21 if you desire to drink at the Pearl Cove Beach Club. What does it include? It includes the full service restaurant, infinity pool, exclusive beachfront, premium lounge chairs, and exclusive bars. Let us go on to the next option, the option being Pearl Cove Beach Open Bar. You have all of the same amenities as the all access, but you have now the addition of 10 drinks. Limited to 10 drinks, and that price is $139.99. And you have to be a minimum of age 21 to have this one. Now, the last option, the Pearl Cove All-Inclusive Access, includes all of the amenities from before. You get the drinks, you get the premium lounges, you have access to the exclusive bars, the exclusive beachfront, the infinity pool, the full service restaurant, and on top of that, the addition now is a premium lunch. So the cost of that is $179.99. And to have the all-inclusive access, you need to be a minimum age of 21 years old because of the fact it includes the 10 drinks. Next, what can you expect when you get there? When you get there, immediately there's a security guard that will ask you, do you have a ticket? Once you get up there, you would sign in, you would give your ticket over to the individuals at the desk. They had a rag with ice cubes in it. It was such a hot day. I was so glad they had that. I used it immediately because I just came off of doing my full tour of Celebration Key. They had a rum punch and they had water to greet you with. Once they checked you in and gave you a wristband, then there was an individual that walked you through the beach club and showed you around, which I thought was a great touch, was great customer service. And they showed you around, they let you know what was there, the restaurant, the bars that was available there. And so I thought that was a great touch that Carnival had there. Once you got there, then you had the pick of whatever lounge chair that you could have. So what was there? How many bars? So they had 3 bars. There was a bar that was right near the pool. There was a swim up bar connected to the infinity pool, which was beautiful. And they also had a bar inside the restaurant itself. How did they count the drinks? So they really didn't have a real way of counting the drinks to me because they asked me for my card, but every time you ask for a drink, a bottle of water, whatever it is, they didn't ask you for your card And when I was in the restaurant, they did not ask me for my card either. And it was as if the counting of the drinks started over in the restaurant when you could have been by the pool or by the beach getting drinks. So I don't think there is a real proper way of them counting drinks. So I heard that some people may have even went over their 10 drink allotment because there's really not a way to properly count drinks currently, whereas that may change going forward. So they had cabanas there, they had villas there. They were not directly on the water itself. They were more further back, but they had those there also for you to rent. What was my impression of this place? Thought it was beautiful. I love the fact, and everywhere on the island, everywhere had umbrellas for you to use. There was those that did not have umbrellas near their seats, but there's maybe individuals that just want to tan, and that will be fine for them. And I thought that the infinity pool, and I took advantage of the infinity pool. I thought the infinity pool was beautiful. It wasn't packed because of the fact it was only one cruise ship in port. It was only the Carnival Conquest that I was on was in port, so it wasn't packed. And I'm curious, as we get more cruise ships in port, if that infinity pool will be packed. When it came to the service, they served by the pool. There was a waiter that would come around and they would serve you drinks. And if you did not want to go into the restaurant, they also served you by your chair. You would just ask for what you wanted and they would serve you right by your chair. I also saw waiters and waitresses on the beach. So I'm thinking that they would go from time to time for those individuals that were closer on the beach and not by the pool and ask them for their orders as well. There were not as many people that were on the beach. There were a lot more people that were hanging out around the pool area. When it came to the service inside the restaurant, I thought the service inside the restaurant was great. I thought they served you well. They were very attentive to your needs and what you wanted. And so I thought service in general was kind. They were polite. They really served you well in whatever capacity it was, whether it was when you were by the pool, when you were on the beach, or in the restaurant itself. Next, what about the food? I went into the restaurant, and once they knew that we were all inclusive, I had a friend with me. They came with another menu. And so there was three options. You got an appetizer. Everyone got the same appetizer. You had a choice of an entree, and you had a choice of a dessert. You know, I rate food on a scale of 1 to 5. What did I think about the food in this premium charging $179.99 experience? What did I think about the food, the quality of the food, how it tasted? Before I go forward, if you are enjoying this content, can you do me a favor? Can you like, comment, and subscribe? It would help me to produce further content just like this. And for those returning subscribers, thank you so much for supporting the way that you do. Now, let's talk about the food. So in these three options for the food, we had the choice of the Mediterranean platter. So that would be almost like your appetizer. So everybody had that option. There was no additional choices of appetizers to choose from. You had sushi bar menu. That was an additional cost. You had your entree, and there was a good assortment of entrees to choose from, and only two choices of desserts. Let me first start with the Mediterranean platter. What did it come with? The Mediterranean platter came with tzatziki, olives, hummus, and pita bread chips. The hummus was delicious to me. The tzatziki almost reminded me a little bit of sour cream, a little tart. The olives were great. The bread chips, pita bread chips, a little bit too hard. It was thick. It wasn't thin like pita chips to be. And so it was a little bit too thick and a little bit too hard for me. So on that platter itself, I really like the hummus and the olives. And so because of that, I had to give it like a 2.5 out of 5. The hummus by itself was really good. If I had the hummus and maybe just the olives, I would be good with that. But I have to rate the dish overall. So next, I did not get anything from the sushi bar and I went straight to the entree. I decided for my entree to get the roasted chicken. The roasted chicken, according to the menu, had herbs on it, and also for sides, it was asparagus and potato wedges. So, what did I think about each item? The asparagus was fine, it was seasoned well enough. The potato wedges, I think, could have been a little bit more firmer to me. It was a little bit too soft for potato wedges. And when it came to the roasted chicken, I was expecting it to be really good because of the herbs. It was seasoned, but it was dry. It was dry. I needed so much to doctor it up. I was asking for hot sauce, ketchup. They didn't have ketchup. I asked for more of the sauce that came with it or the gravy. And so I needed so much to doctor it up because it was dry. And so for that reason, because the protein, even though it was a nice sized piece of chicken, for that reason, I had to give that whole dish a 2.5 out of 5 as well. It wasn't dry to the point of being inedible, but it was dry to the point of it needed something more to give it the moisture. Next, let's go to the dessert, the last part of the meal. When it came to dessert, there was only two options, baklava and chocolate cake. I love me some chocolate cake. One of my favorite desserts. And so when I had it, it was disappointing because too sweet. I don't think I've had a chocolate cake that I said it was too sweet, but it was just too sweet. I guess with the raspberry syrup or whatever they had on top of it, I guess all of the combinations of the flavors just made it too sweet and I could not finish it off. And so for the meal in general, it was not a satisfying meal to me. It was something that I ate, but there was hits and misses all throughout the meal, but the service was good. So that was the food. And next, what about the vibe? How was the vibe of the place? And so there was a DJ there, and for the fact that it was adult all-inclusive area, there really was no turn up. It wasn't really a lot of excitement. There was a DJ that was playing music for the time that you were there, and it was varying different types of music, but it seemed like the vibe was just about relaxing by the pool, relaxing by the beach, being in that beautiful infinity pool. It was not about entertainment, excitement, turning up, nothing where I saw that adults was doing something together and enjoying each other, or there was no fun squad, nothing of the sort. It was just vibes of relaxation. Some additional information that you may want to know. There were restrooms there. There was one near the restaurant and one near the pool. Lifeguards were on duty as well. And the tram, if you looked at my tour video, I said that trams will go throughout Celebration Key. And when I left the property, when I left the beach club, I went right across the street and waited on the tram that comes pretty much frequently to be able to get back to the beginning of Celebration Key. Another item I need to let you know about, there were bees flying around by the pool. And if you are allergic to bees, if you are scared of bees, maybe this will be something that will distract you from going there. And when there were not bees, at times I would also see flies. And I could understand it. You cut down a whole area where there was vegetation and all the items that bees love to go and to be around. And now you're saying is only going to be beach chairs. And so we're more or less on their territory and they were around. So if you're scared of bees, if you're fearful of maybe getting stung, no one I heard got stung, then maybe that will be a deterrent for you from going to the Pearl Cove Beach Club. So did I think it's worth it? What did I think about it? Would I recommend it? For those individuals that want exclusivity, may enjoy the infinity pool, have your own restaurant, knowing that only individuals in that place will go to that restaurant. As I said, you had 3 bars that were right there for only those individuals that were there. I think it would be a good place for you, knowing though that you would have to pay for your drinks because Carnival does not allow the drink package to go on Celebration Key. So you would have to pay for your drinks additionally, but you would have access to this place. Do you think it's worth it? I think for those individuals like that, I think it would be worth it. Do I think it was worth me going for the all-inclusive option? It was nice to be able to have kind of 10 drinks and I didn't have to worry about being charged additional. But 10 drinks could be waters, it could be sodas. If you're not an individual that drink like that, you may not even be able to get through 10 drinks. I described the food, and even though it was maybe a premium, because there was lobster as one of the entrees, Wagyu beef as a burger for one of the entrees. And so therefore, you know that it is elevated in terms of the cost of some of the items, but the fact that the food wasn't the best. So I paid for 10 drinks, which I didn't even do 10 drinks. And I paid for food that was not really the best. And so if you have access to the beach club, you can always go off somewhere else and eat somewhere else and have that exclusivity of the beach club and may not even drink as much, especially if you're like waters, sodas, you're not a person that drinks like that anyway, and save you some money in the long run. So I thought that it was not worth it for me. It was not worth it for me to do the $179.99 because of the fact that the additional items I got wasn't really that good. I didn't enjoy the food. The drinks were what the drinks were. I didn't even do 10 drinks. You know, some of that was water and it wasn't strong drinks at all. So if you're looking for strong drinks, it was not strong. It did not knock you out. You didn't have a rum punch and all of a sudden you just needed a moment to get yourself together. So if you're looking for strong drinks and expecting strong drinks to be there, they weren't. So I didn't think it was worth it for me. Would I do it again? I think I would do it again because of the exclusivity. Tried lunch at the restaurant, the non all-inclusive restaurant menu, see how that is, and then maybe go to Calypso, which is the adult only area. Maybe go to Calypso and see how the vibe is over there and try out some other food options. There's food truck items that you can go and try out as well. There are also other restaurants as well that you could try out all over Celebration Key. So there are so many options, and I would not do the $179.99 all-inclusive option again, but I would consider doing the access option as long as the price does not go up from there. If the price continues to increase, then I would have to change my mind concerning that. Thank you so much for coming to this video. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. Also, don't forget to check out the tour I did on Celebration Key. You can imagine yourself being on the island just before you get to check it out for yourself. Until next time, Happy travels.